growing flowers for nobody, but I'd rather you see me thriving, finding my way back up. I could say it's a leviathan of lonely, hanging around the whole place haunting. I don't care if no one ever wants me again. There's a way life goes. It goes away it goes. It just takes off and up in a bale of coals. I could tell you I felt like I was dying. Hugged my knees to my chest, crying. I couldn't stop. I rocked and rocked while he just stood there and watched. I could show you a real shattering. A bird flown into a glass, went up, collapsing. But I'd rather you see me flying happily ever after the aftermath. There's a way it goes away it goes. It just takes off and up in a bale of gold. It goes away it goes. It just takes off and up in a bale of gold. I spent a year looking inward and healing. Made some new friends, don't ask about the deep end. Even I couldn't believe it when I felt my heart sprouting feathers and I caught myself dreaming again. Oh, you know, there's a way life goes. It goes away it goes. It just takes off and up in a bale of there's a way life goes. It goes away it goes. It just takes off and up in a bale of gold.
Performed live by my guest today, Amanda Shires. That was Away It Goes. It's a song from her new album, Nobody's Girl, on World Cafe. I'm Raina Duras. Amanda, welcome back to the World Cafe.
I'm so glad to be back.
I'm so happy to see you. That song that we just heard has the first lines that we hear on the album. I can show you how he left me, paint a picture, growing flowers for nobody, but I'd rather you see me thriving, finding my way back up. You almost didn't make this album with these songs about heartbreak and the end of your relationship, but Shooter Jennings convinced you to do it. What was that conversation like?
I was honestly, I'd been in the studio and I'd tracked some other new songs that I've been working on. at the end of that day, my producer and I, Lawrence Rothman, were listening back to what we had and comparing it to some other songs we'd recorded. And Lawrence was like, "We feels like this record's going in two different directions." And I said, I wrote these songs. I don't know if that's what I want to go out and play and do and like talk about, or even admit that I've had these feelings. And Lawrence was like, "But we have to, because it's important. Like it'd help people, and if we get to the end of it, it'll help you because you'll have written your way through it." And even though it was probably what they're saying was with my best intentions at heart, I got really stubborn and was left the studio and went to my hotel and called my friend Shooter, because Shooter lives in LA and I'm staying in LA. And Shooter's like, this sounds like a more like in-person conversation kind of thing. So his wife's birthday, he was like, "Come down to Misty's birthday and we'll chat there and celebrate and stuff." And I went up there and he said, "I could see why you want to abandon it, but," he's like, "you've gotten this far and these songs are really good and they move me." And he said, "There's not a lot of music made in the process of going through like the healing journey." And I was like, "Yeah, but," and he said that it would be, I'd probably regret it, or that I'd probably be doing fans a disservice. And it's also like he said, you can't just jump from one thing to another without, clearing your mind and all this kind of thing. And said a bunch of stuff, and I listened to Shooter, and then I got mad because Shooter was right. And then I, of course, called and apologized to Lawrence, and Lawrence, of course, is forgiving. And we started just slowly writing our way towards the end of the record. And that's how Away It Goes was born, was the next day going in and just us taking it slow. And Lawrence saying, even if we don't, even if this one isn't like the one we write isn't going on it, we're still going to work towards getting to the end of the record. And we did it. And that song for me is the reason why I was able to continue with the record, because I feel like it encapsulates so many of the things that I was feeling and thinking. Like, I can show you how I'd rather you see me thriving and flying, and as hard as it is to, well, I would rather you, I just never want to be seen as like a victim or weak. and and truly being honest about the difficulties and the lows, and the the absolute lows of it all is kind of hard to face, I guess. But at the same time, it's kind of like the fourth trimester of pregnancy that nobody talks about. Like after the kid's born, like in a way, it's like that. Like we all know what this is like, but there's not a lot of material out there for those of us going through it.
I mean, this album, obviously, you made it in a very different emotional context than your last one. That's when we talked last for Take It Like a
Mhm,
Man. And you brought Lawrence Rothman back to produce again. And
mhm,
you've always talked about Lawrence so
mhm.
glowingly, and about how supportive they are in the studio. When you're in this sort of different emotional state, what kind of energy did Lawrence bring to the process?
Lawrence brings an unwavering sense of fun at all times. Like Lawrence dances and will focus on, sounds, and not just the vibe, but the really important things of like reminding you that you're strong and you're tough. Like, get your wiggles out, we're about to do a take. Or also, they're really good at listening, like details. Like, I waited to do that vocal take. I told Lawrence, I was like, "I'm not doing this till the end because I want to do that song and put it away, because I just need a place for that to live." And they're really good at listening and understanding when to push and when not to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're going to come back to details a little bit later, but
Hmm.
a lot of the songs on the album are kind of heavy, but we're going to hear you
Hmm.
perform one that is funny and is fun.
Hmm.
And it's a song called Friendzone. It's one that you and
Hmm.
Lawrence wrote together. Talk about the words of this song for me? Because it does explore a different side of coming out of a long-term relationship.
So, friend zone is, love is already ridiculous, and you know, even, you just find yourself making friends and having crushes, and that's a different feeling when you've not been in that mindset for a long time, of like seeing somebody as like a love interest. Are
Sure,
you in a
yeah.
relationship?
I am, but I've also been
Okay.
in that position where you're like, oh, I
Okay.
didn't realize I could feel like this about somebody again. And it's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it is exciting. And that came, and I was thinking, I was like, this is interesting. And then you kind of get brave and admit that to a person, and they're like, oh, I just see us as friends. And then you're like, well, that's kind of, you know, and it's kind of like, and I didn't even know this term before, because it's like I didn't know about friend zones or situationships or anything like that, or even dating apps. I now have one that I don't look at, but uh, in the end, friendship is really good, and I was definitely not in a place where I should be probably bringing my baggage to somebody else. But it's also, you've got to laugh at yourself, and that's what I was doing. I was like, I thought this was both sided over here. Boy, was I wrong. I am terrible at ESP.
But I mean, that is part of it. Like when you come out of a relationship and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, you're kind of, you don't really know how to do that stuff for
Yeah,
a
and you're
while.
not guarded because you haven't been guarded in a long time. Like, you've been open and with the person and all this, and it doesn't apply to everyone. Shires, you got to keep the window shut. You just don't go thinking that everybody you think is cute is relationship material.
Well, let's hear you perform it. We'll come back and we'll keep talking. This is Friendzone, Amanda Shires on World Cafe.
I slept in my makeup and most of my clothes. Tried everything I could, but you just wouldn't let me get close. For the third time this week, what you don't know or see is that this is all so very unlike me. I wish I could be everything you need, what you want, but I'm not. So let's just get high and watch Tombstone. Get even higher and watch Rambo. Make silly jokes like where his shirt goes, while all his friends somehow manage to keep their shirts on. Eating jelly beans with you, stoned in the friend zone. I could be friends, but I'm harboring hope. Wish I could be everything you need, what you want, but I'm not. So I'll try and quit thinking of the weight of your hand on my back, and coming up with new ways that I could make you laugh. And the way the sunset around you at 60 miles, maybe I could change your mind. You call it mixed signals over a couple mixed dreams, and I swore I'd quit trying for the 1,000th time this week, but that's a lie. And so unlike me, I wish I could be everything you dream or what you want, but I'm not. So here goes the strings. I wish I could be everything you need. I wish I could be everything you need, but I'm not what you want. So too bad for me. Rockland Strings, what a beautiful night.
Amanda Shires performing live for the World Cafe. That was Friendzone from her new album Nobody's Girl. I'm Raina Duras, joined by Amanda Shires today. You mentioned the film Tombstone in that song. It's a Western from 1993. And you love Westerns, right?
I love Westerns, and I love that Western particularly. I've had it downloaded on my iPhone and computer, and I have a DVD copy, and it goes with me everywhere I go. Something about it's so relaxing.
What is it?
And
Yeah, what is it about that one and Westerns, I guess, in general that you love so much?
It reminds me of Texas where I grew up, and these kind of codes and rules and like kind of sense of self. And I played in the Texas Playboys. I grew up playing the fiddle and doing 4-H and raising cows and country stuff, and I think that the old ways and are just I just think of it as very romantic, even though if it was to be right now, I know that everybody doesn't have toothpaste or anything like that or look as handsome as Val Kilmer, but it's there's just something to it, the strength of characters. And I'm just going to shoot you because you deserve it.
Right.
Not really. I don't feel like anybody
no,
should like be toting guns around.
It feels like there's a clarity to like the moral code, whether it's for better or for worse in it.
Yeah, and there's none of this bless your heart BS that we get in other parts of the world, or like concealing your real feelings about a person or a topic. And I just think that's really cool. And to me, Westerns they're like honest, and even the bad guys. Yeah.
We're going to hear another live song in a second. I'm talking to Amanda Shires on World Cafe. And the next song we're going to hear you play is a song from your 2018 album, To the Sunset. It's called Parking Lot Pirouette. Why did you want to revisit this song for us?
It has a possibility to it, and kind of a strength in your own choosing, I guess. And I wanted to manifest a future of, like, not currently, like a future of one day finding myself in a place where I might, want to have somebody in my life or something. I don't know. And in this healing journey, I feel like I've become more comfortable with my voice. I just wanted to keep playing that song and wanted to give it a chance to have a full voice behind it, and not a kind of scared voice.
Yeah.
Not scared, but like kind of like not, I didn't feel like my voice was, I had lived in it enough. And now I'm feeling that I am. And I also wanted to manifest, like, sometimes I think about like singing songs like this that I might be or have, it's magical thinking, as Joan Didion might say, that have manifested ends and things, which is not true. But if in the case that it was, I wanted to manifest some kind of good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like I have crystals. I don't know if they work, but in case they do, I'm gonna hang out with them.
I mean, why not? Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Well, here is Parking Lot Pirouette performed live by Amanda Shires. This is World Cafe.
I never learned the names of shape between the stars of shapes, the constellations make. They're burning jewels suspended in air. Aquarius is everything. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. Everywhere I looked, I saw the halo move through the window. When I was underneath you, I thought I'd been holding on too tight in a falling lane of light that doesn't learn, that doesn't learn, that doesn't last. Last night you walked me to my car. You said you won't be getting far before you turn around. I did a parking lot pirouette. I said you're right, I'm not done with you yet. And I turned around, I turned around, I turned around. I turned around, the bottle fell to pieces on the floor. You laughed, said we should do this more. And you know I'd give every dollar in my purse for another one of your detours. For another night, another night, another night. And I turned around, I turned around, I turned Thank you.
Parking Lot Pirouette, recorded live for World Cafe by Amanda Shires. That's from her 2018 album To the Sunset. I'm Raina Duras. Amanda Shires is my guest today. She has a new album called Nobody's Girl. We've also been hearing her perform songs from that album today. Amanda, you have said there's one song from the album that you will never play live or that you think would be very difficult to play live. That
Mhm.
song is called The Details.
Mm-hmm.
Why have you decided to not perform The Details live?
I because I don't want to. I wrote that song to have a place to put. So the record is about not belonging to anybody and belonging to yourself, and about autonomy and like taking hold of refinding your identity as an individual solo human out in the world, and finding strength in that. And um it's that. And then the details, I wrote that as a place to put my fears and my experiences. And I guess I have fear of misinterpretation or being erased or written out of. And that fear in its true heart to me is like comes down to a feeling of like you didn't matter, and I won't allow myself to be erased. And I needed to do that to be able to get to this kind of version of a stronger me. And
I mean, yeah, it's one of
yeah.
those. It's one of the songs where you're probably the most like forthright and very clear. Where like
Hmm.
when people hear it, they'll know like what you're talking about. I think. And was there part of you that was at all nervous to be so clear about what you wanted to say there?
Yeah, terrifying. I was terrified, uh, but at the same time, just because you're scared of something doesn't mean you shouldn't write your way through it also, or sort yourself through it. Like you gotta face your fears, and hopefully some kind of growth comes from it. And I made a lot of choices that were in service to a dream, you know. I stand by those choices, and they were ones I made. And even though the plans and the dreams change, it doesn't mean they didn't happen. But it all is what it is. But I had to write it to get through it.
I got him help, and then he bailed. What were all those promises for? Cover me up, nothing's ever enough. Gonna have to put the house up for sale. He scared me then, and he still scares me now. Never will hear me out. The thing is, he justifies it, using me and cashing in on our marriage. And he erases the details, and history. No matter how clear, I keep the memories. He rewrites them so he can sleep. He erases a detail.
On World Cafe, Amanda Shires is my guest today. The album title, I mean, Nobody's Girl, it feels defiant. And there are many parts throughout the album where you wrestle with with the idea of being alone. But then there are parts where you do seem to really be relishing a new feeling of freedom. Were there things that you discovered that you had compromised over the years that surprised you when the relationship ended?
Yeah, I there were, and I don't want to say that it's all bad, because you compromise, and little by little you make concessions. I mean, we all do.
Sure.
Little things like how I like to begin my days. Like I found that my most creative part of the day is in the morning when it's quiet. I kind of call it like before my ego's awake. And so I'll write minimum of 20 minutes, even if I'm not getting anywhere. And, a lot of times I don't, but use the practice of it. And found out that I like going to the gym more than I like working out at home. I used to think I loved working out at home, which I didn't because I barely did it. But I like going to the gym, and I like being in a room, being held accountable with other people doing classes. Um, and I like the YMCA. It's a happy place with good folks. And so I do that. And then I also found new hobbies. Like I play backgammon now and got a coach. And I learned also that I'm really good at being alone, and I like to be alone and read books. Like just like anybody else, I like to think of fun ways to hang out with my daughter and get her talking.
I keep thinking about how interesting this album will be for your daughter to listen to someday when she gets a little older. What do you
Mhm,
hope she takes
mhm.
from it?
Yeah. Well, she's heard it. Oh, I hope that she takes the away from it that because we're all gonna get dealt, grief and heartbreak, that you can go through through it the best you can in your own way and find your way through it, and you can make something out of it if you want to. Like, and it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be beautiful, but you can make something out of a mess. I would like her to also take away that she's of a breed of Texas woman. We might crumble a little, but we don't fall completely apart. We rebuild, and we rebuild. We put our big girl panties on, and we will fake it till we make it, and we will get there. And we're strong, um, and that sharing your feelings and being vulnerable is a superpower.
You said that she has heard it. What did she think of it?
She really likes Peace of Mind, and she's a little upset that there's this one song missing from it called Stormbringer, which is it's a song that'll probably make it on the next record, but it's not all the way done, but it's talks about if you were a woman in a world where you were in complete control, and you know we had all the strength. Kind of that. Did you read that book, The Power?
No.
That idea came to me there, but it's more like it goes. I'd walk through my choice of alleyways any time of night or day, do whatever I want, whenever I want, and something. I have no say. Stormbringer, and then it's just like a kind of anthem for not having to know things that we know about our own safety.
Yeah.
Like we know about alleys, and we know about like how to carry our keys, and different ways that we operate through the world looking for exits or potential escapes and things like that. So this song that she wishes was on there didn't fit the collection. She really was upset that that one wasn't on there, and she knows that we write songs and we make them rhyme. And which one does she like a lot? She likes Peace of Mind a lot, and she likes The Way It Goes a lot. I think that the beauty of music, and then being her age too, is like I think about it in the way that I listened to music as a kid, like, oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Like, I never paid attention to those words. I just liked the
Yeah.
melody and the beat when I was little. And I don't ever like if she has a question, I'll ask her as far as she wants to or answer it as best I can, as for as long as she's interested in the conversation, then we let it go. And I know she'll probably have more questions later, but I think I'm gonna be fine at answering those as being both a product of a divorce and a divorcee.
My guest is Amanda Shires on World Cafe. The last song we're going to hear today is Peace of Mind. And this is a song I think has some of the most well observed and crushing details in it, but also some of the most encouraging lyrics about getting through it. I'll start with the crushing detail. It's a line that I just keep coming back to. About buckled when I heard and saw you on the ring cam whistling, broke everything we built and left me there to just deal with it. It feels so specific and so real, that image of seeing this person through your partner through this camera whistling when you're going through hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, everybody gets to be happy. But I had to write that song because I needed closure, and I didn't get the closure that I wanted. And I was wrestling with that and frustrated with that. Like I still had things to say and maybe want to like talk about, and that wasn't an option. And I kept thinking, well, maybe that day will eventually come. And then when I realized it wasn't, was like, I just want to have a place where I could say the things that I didn't get to say. And they didn't all fit on there, and some of them don't really make for a good song. So I kept the parts of what I wanted to say, and then tried to like find images that matched it, and so that I could have the closure that I wanted. I could give myself that. And that's a good gift to give yourself that.
I feel like you give yourself maybe not closure in this song, but a way kind of forward. You get a new
Mhm.
dining room table, you repaint the walls,
Mhm.
you can eat
Mhm.
and you can breathe again. And
Yeah.
getting over heartbreak is not a linear thing. It's not like you wake up one day and it never happened and you're fine. It's
Yeah.
like some days are easy, some days are hard. As
Yeah.
as more time passes, does the path forward feel clearer?
I think for me, the path forwards never felt super clear. I think because of the job that I do is kind of one that's dependent on a lot of things. But the path forward, as far as moving through the healing journey, feels clearer because in the middle of it, it's like it feels a snail's pace and like you're never gonna get anywhere. It's so slow feeling, and it's almost coming up on almost 2 years of of me, you know, finding my identity as the only the soul the soul Amanda Shire. No, I mean like finding this person I am now after this version of me, and it's interesting too because when you're in a place that you've shared with somebody for so long, you can't help but see old ghosts and hear them or have memories attached to things. And but the dining room table, changing that out helped, and then getting a different bed helped. And not that I needed a different bed, but I just I had to get a different bed. And I'm sharing a lot, I think. Sorry. And you do what you got to do, and you've got to try to trust your instincts. And sometimes you don't need to be taking a jujitsu class. That's just not what you think it's going to be. Like I tried that out. That was an epic fail. Um, yeah. And at the same time, for me, I do hope everybody finds their peace of mind. And I just had a little piece of my mind I wanted to get out. And luckily I have the ability to play music. So I got to put it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing it with us. This is Peace of Mind. It's Amanda Shires. It's World Cafe.
If you think I could ever hate you, you're wrong. But that was a real way to leave. I buckled when I heard and I saw you on the ring camp whistling. Broke everything we built and left me there just to deal with it. Oh, I hope you finally find it's all the same.